Once in a small town, there was a young man named Jack who was always chasing something, gadgets, clothes, or others' approval. He believed that getting everything he wanted would finally make him happy. One day, Jack heard about a magical well in the forest that could grant eternal satisfaction. He found the well and drank its golden liquid, feeling a rush of joy. But the feeling quickly faded, and no matter how much he drank, it was never enough. Exhausted, Jack realized that his thirst could never truly be satisfied. Have you ever felt like Jack? Constantly chasing something only to find it never truly satisfies you? Why do the things we desire often leave us wanting more? Buddha asked these same questions. He was once a prince who had everything but left it all behind to understand why people suffer. Through his journey, he discovered the Four Noble Truths, a path that offers a way to break free from this cycle of craving and dissatisfaction and find lasting peace. In this video, we'll explore the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism and uncover how they hold the key to understanding and ending suffering. Let's get started. The first noble truth, the truth of suffering. Everyone, regardless of their background, faces suffering. No matter who you are, you will experience pain, stress, sadness, and frustration at some point. This might feel pessimistic, but recognizing suffering isn't about being negative. It's about facing reality honestly so that we can find a way to overcome it. There are different types of suffering, and understanding them helps us see why we experience discomfort and dissatisfaction. Here's a breakdown of the main types. First type of suffering is suffering of pain. This is the most obvious kind of suffering, physical and emotional pain. For example, physical pain like headaches, injuries, or illness, and emotional pain like sadness, anger, or grief after a loss. Second type of suffering is suffering of change. Even happy moments cause suffering because they're temporary. When good things end or change, it can lead to disappointment or sadness. For example, the sadness when a great vacation ends, the anxiety when a good situation changes, or the discomfort of growing older and facing the changes it brings. Third type of suffering is suffering of conditioned existence. This is a deeper, more subtle form of suffering that comes from simply being human. It's the underlying sense of dissatisfaction that comes from living in a world where everything is temporary and out of our control. For example, the stress and worry that come from always trying to keep things the way we want them, the frustration of dealing with life's uncertainties, or the feeling that something is missing, even when things seem to be going well. Understanding this truth is the first step in realizing that suffering is a natural part of life, and it encourages us to find a way to deal with it more wisely. Now that we've recognized that suffering is an inevitable part of life, you might be wondering, what's really causing all this pain and dissatisfaction? Why do we keep feeling this way? The answer lies in the second noble truth, where we uncover the true source of our suffering. The second noble truth, the truth of the cause of suffering. The second noble truth explains that the cause of suffering is craving or desire, known as tanha in Buddhism. It's the constant wanting and attachment to things, experiences, or even ideas that lead to our suffering. Let's understand with a few examples. We usually crave 4 types of things in our daily lives. 1. Material things. 2. Pleasurable experiences. 3. Approval from others. And 4. Stability. All of these cravings ultimately leave us wanting more and dissatisfied. For example, talking about craving approval from other people, many of us seek approval from others, whether it's through social media likes, praise at work, or recognition from peers. But this craving can lead to anxiety as we constantly worry about what others think and whether we're measuring up. When approval isn't given, it can cause frustration and self-doubt. Similarly, many of you keep eyeing the latest smartphone. You save up and finally buy it, and for a while you're thrilled. But soon, a newer model comes out, and your excitement fades. Now you want the next one, and the cycle starts again. This craving for the latest and greatest is endless and creates a sense of dissatisfaction. Same goes with pleasurable experiences. A lot of people just keep dating endlessly and enjoy intimacy to feel good. They constantly keep comparing their dating options in the hope of finding one partner that could give them the most pleasure, but later they end up very dissatisfied because no person is perfect, and all relationships require effort. The craving for stability is the biggest cause of suffering, expecting that things don't change. Whether it's holding on to a relationship that's no longer working or wishing we could stay young forever, this attachment to the way things were leads to suffering when reality inevitably changes. Life is constantly changing, and yet we resist change. We want things to be a certain way, and when they aren't, we feel pain and dissatisfaction. Now that we know craving is at the heart of our suffering, the next big question is, can we ever find a way out of this endless cycle? Is there really a way to overcome our desires and find true peace? The third noble truth holds the answer. The third noble truth, the truth of the end of suffering. After hearing the first truth, anyone would feel like there is no hope left and there is nothing but suffering. However, the Buddha reassures us that true happiness and contentment is possible. The third noble truth offers a hopeful message: suffering can end. It teaches that the suffering we experience in life isn't permanent. It can be brought to an end. This cessation of suffering is known as nirodha, and it occurs when we let go of the cravings and attachments that cause our pain. When we achieve this state, we experience a profound peace and freedom, known as nirvana. At the core of this truth is the idea that if the cause of suffering, craving, and attachment is removed, then suffering itself will cease. It's like extinguishing a fire. If you remove the fuel, cravings, the fire, suffering, will die out. Nirvana is not a place but a state of being. It's a profound state of liberation and peace that arises when all desires and attachments have been overcome. It's like waking up from a restless dream into a reality where there's no more fear, anxiety, or dissatisfaction. There's no longer any need to grasp at things because you understand the true nature of reality, that everything is impermanent and not worth clinging to. People have misconceptions about nirvana, though. First, it's not about escaping life. Some people think that achieving nirvana means escaping from life or becoming indifferent to everything, but it's not about turning away from life. It's about engaging with life in a way that's free from the attachments that cause suffering. It's living fully but without the constant cravings that lead to disappointment and pain. Another misconception is that to reach nirvana, one must become emotionless or detached from everything. In reality, it's about understanding and managing emotions in a way that they no longer control you. You still feel emotions, but you're not enslaved by them. One of the key aspects of reaching nirodha is learning to live in the present moment. Much of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. By focusing on the present and accepting it as it is, we can reduce unnecessary suffering and move closer to nirvana. While nirvana might seem like a distant or abstract concept, the third noble truth teaches that it is attainable even in this life. Through diligent practice and understanding, anyone can reach this state of peace and freedom. Now that we know suffering can end, the big question is, how do we actually get there? Is there a step-by-step path we can follow to achieve this freedom from suffering? The fourth noble truth reveals exactly how we can reach that state of peace, and it's more practical than you might think. The fourth noble truth, the path to the end of suffering. The fourth noble truth is all about the Noble Eightfold Path, 8 practices that lead to the end of suffering and the attainment of nirvana. Let's break it down. The Eightfold Path is divided into 3 main sections: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. First, we start with wisdom. This is the foundation of the path, involving the understanding of the 4 noble truths and the nature of reality. It's about seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. Then comes right intention, which means setting your heart on compassion, kindness, and letting go of harmful desires. Next, we have ethical conduct. This includes right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Right speech is about speaking truthfully, avoiding lies, gossip, and harmful words. It encourages communication that is honest, kind, and beneficial to others. Right action means living morally, avoiding harm to others. It includes following moral precepts, such as not killing, stealing, or engaging in harmful behaviors. And right livelihood means earning a living in a way that doesn't cause harm and aligns with your values. The final section is mental discipline. It includes three things: right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Right effort involves consistently working to cultivate positive qualities in your life. Right mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, aware of your thoughts, actions, and surroundings. And right concentration is about developing a focused, calm mind through meditation. The Noble Eightfold Path is like a map that guides us to a life free from suffering. By walking this path step by step, we can all find our way to lasting happiness and inner peace.